Now, the Deputy President, David Mabuza, in his capacity as the chairperson of the Interministerial Task Team, has met with traditional Khoi and San leaders in the Eastern Cape. He'll also address informal traders and emerging businesses there. Mabuza's address comes almost 2 months before the ANC's National Elective Conference in December, where questions have been raised about his own political future. Our reporter Ronald Masinda is following this story for us and is joining us now. Good afternoon, Ronald. The Deputy President addressing traditional leaders and also leaders of the Khoi people, the San people earlier, raising concerns about the issue of gender-based violence.
Yes, indeed, brother, and good afternoon. We're coming to us live outside of the Eastern Cape House of Traditional Leaders. That meeting is still ongoing inside, but the Deputy President making a lot of stern words, saying that the traditional leaders too have a big role to play in order to ensure that gender-based violence is eradicated. There are certain areas in society, even here in the Eastern Cape, where there are still primitive ideals where people who are following certain traditional values still believe that the men are still head of the households and that women must be put in their place. So he had a few stern words with traditional leaders. He is here as part of a nationwide engagement with traditional leaders. He has travelled to 7 other provinces with the exception of Gauteng and the Western Cape. This is his last stop. He spoke in isiZulu earlier.
Sibona nje isizwe sethu sihlaselwe izifo eziningi ezingakaze zibe khona emphakathini yethu. Izifo zokubulawa kwabantu besifazane, izifo zokuhlukunyezwa kwabantu besifazane. Abanye ke benza lezi zinto lezi zokuhlukumeza abantu besifazane bazenza ngaphansi kwamasiko wethu. Angilazi ke mina isiko lethu elithi abantu besifazane abahlukunyezwe. Sicela ukuthi amakhosi ake aphakame ayikhuze lento le.
Now, Ronald, the issue of land, I understand, was also part of the Deputy President's address today. What was said as well during the Premier's address?
Yeah, so Premier Oscar Mabuyane was speaking about the issue of land and just the important role traditional leaders have to play in their respective areas or homesteads. He believes that traditional leaders must also play their part in redistributing land, also giving land to potential investors. He alluded to certain issues where, for example, the Shell issue here on the Wild Coast, where he believes that jobs could have been created if Shell was given the opportunity for its exploration. He also mentioned a couple of other projects where investors have been keen in investing here in the Eastern Cape, an area with vast land, an area that is in dire need of economic change. He says that traditional leaders must also be the ones at the forefront in providing the necessary land so that potential investors can assist the many people who live in very poor conditions here in the Eastern Cape. But also part of his engagement is that traditional leaders must also get assistance, because one of the issues that emanated from the conversations earlier and in other conversations when we heard when David Mabuza was making his own remarks was that traditional leaders feel that they too must also be reimbursed, given the proper financial support, because they cannot administrate properly in certain homesteads. So they need the financial support and they need office spaces where they can start working so that they can play a bigger role in society.
Okay, thank you very much, Ronald Masinda there, with the latest what happened there in that meeting that's still going ahead there, still underway rather, between the Deputy President David Mabuza and traditional leaders of the Eastern Cape.